Morning! Welcome to Compliance Over Coffee. Beautiful sunny morning here. Yes! About time too for me as well is what I say. So this morning I wanted to talk to you about introducers versus sourcers and what is the difference. I'm hearing an awful lot about people saying we're introducers, we're not sourcers, so we don't have to have compliance. And apparently I was told yesterday this is being taught in some quarters. So I looked into this a long time ago and I've refreshed myself on the topic. And so I wanted to cover the topic with you guys so that you have a clear understanding. And if you're interested in the introducer side rather than the sourcer side, then you can go off and you can do some research on it for yourselves. So, sourcing agents, we all know what sourcing agents are. They find the deal, they find the buyers, they negotiate the deal, they push it through, they get paid on completion. They're acting and they're carrying out estate agency work. So we know what sourcing agents do, and the reason that they have to be fully compliant is because they're acting as an estate agency type business. So where does that leave introducers? The only thing that an introducer does is literally pass on basic contact details of someone who is interested in the service of the person that you are going to be paid by, that you have the introducer contract with. Now that could be another sourcing agent, it could be a solicitor, it could be an accountant. Introducer contracts are used widely in the commercial sector for various bits and pieces of things. They've been around a long time. They haven't up until probably more recently been talked about within the sourcing sector, but I think it's just a thing about our sector that people are always trying to find ways around having to be fully compliant and just changing the name of what they're doing and thinking that that makes a difference. So without wanting to go over legislation, what I want to say to you is this. In the Estate Agents Act, in the definition states clearly introduce and or negotiate. So if you introduce someone and you do any level of negotiation, talking with, discussions, anything, you are sourcing, you're carrying out estate agency work. If you literally just gather names, emails, possibly telephone numbers, then you pass them on to the person for them to actually have the conversation with the seller, if that's what you're introducing, then you would potentially be classed as an introducer. There is no test case as to where the likes of HMRC would draw the line in the sand and say that constitutes introduction, that constitutes estate agency work. There is no test case, so I can't give you a definitive answer as to what level of work will constitute negotiation. But I would say to you this, if you have conversations with the seller and discuss with them anything at all about what price they might be interested in or anything else, then you are negotiating, you are talking to, more than likely. And so you would then cross over into the sourcing sector. Now, as far as introducers are concerned, there are two different types of contract. The first one is a fixed fee contract. The second one is a multiple staged fee contract. The fixed fee contract is obvious. You get one fee for one introduction that actually completes whatever is set down as they have to complete in the agreement. Usually that is in property purchases, exchange of contracts, and then you have an agreed fixed fee for that introduction. In the secondary type of agreement, there are staged fees, so you would get a fee upon sending the information. You might get a fee at another stage if it's taken to another stage, and so on and so forth. And the contracts that I've looked at and viewed have had sort of 4 stages, but they can be adapted. So it may be that you get a fee at 2 stages, that you get a fee on first handing over the information for the lead itself, and then you get a fee should contracts complete, i.e. a larger fee. I think for me what you have to be very, very careful of is not describing yourself as a sourcing agent, not going around and viewing properties, not having conversations and discussions with vendors as to their position and what sort of price would they be expect or negotiating a price, because I've heard of people saying that they're introducers but actually they're basically packaging up a deal and then handing it over to the sourcer and saying that they're just introducing. That isn't the case, guys. You won't get away with that. You are operating as an estate agency business and full compliance has to be in place. Now, as far as introducers are concerned, no, there wouldn't be any anti-money laundering responsibilities. However, you would still have to have some level of professional indemnity insurance, and you would still have to sign for supervision for data protection because you would be gathering personal data. You'd also have to have a very, very good marketing plan to have these leads coming in for you to be able to pass on. So that's just a little bit about introducers versus sourcers. It's not something that we've talked about hugely before, but I know it's kind of the red hot topic at this moment in time. I just wanted to clear up for you guys what the differences are so that you aren't sucked into thinking that, okay, I can't co-source, but I'm going to call myself an introducer and that makes a whole heap of difference. It only makes a difference if you're not doing the sourcing role. So if your co-sourcer who has got the investor wants you to package up the deal and hand it over to them and says you can do it as an introduction, well, you can, but you're in breach of the regulations, guys. If all you're doing is gathering information of people that are interested in the service that your co-sourcer is providing, and you're handing over simply a name, an email, a telephone number, and you're being very, very clear, however you gather that data, that you are not the agent, that you are simply an introducer for the agent, and you're going to have one heck of a disclaimer to explain exactly what your position is, what you don't cover, what you're not responsible for, then look into it further. But please do your due diligence on it. Don't think just because someone has told you, oh, you can call yourself this and the compliance doesn't matter. That isn't the case. So please look into it further. And maybe because my good friend Trish McGeer actually operated as an introducer years back for larger residential developers, we could maybe do a brief live on it and have a chat further and you can ask any questions. So if you'd be interested in that, pop your names in the thread underneath this video. As always, if you've got any topics that you'd like me to cover, pop those into the thread as well and we'll add them to the list. Other than that, it's Thursday, it's sunny. I believe the weekend is going to be dry. I hope it sunshines where you guys are. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you next week for more Compliance Over Coffee. Bye for now.